every time we log in, it's just like serverrestartin.com, serverrestartin.com, serverrestartin.com. Have you checked out the new episode of Server Restart In?
Available today.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to another. All right, I can't even take it so seriously. Welcome back to another episode of Server Restart In. It is a usually weekly World of Warcraft podcast,
but it's the holidays
by three opinionated players who like to get together to discuss their thoughts and opinions about the current state of the game. My name is Jim.
Yes.
I'm joined by Kristen.
Hello.
And you guessed it, Brian.
What? Brian's here too?
Yeah. the dynamic
trio
is it's got to be alliterative. The terrific trio.
Yeah. Okay.
The
terrible
whatever.
trio.
Anyway, we're back. Holidays and work trips and all kinds of other stuff get in the way. So there were some secret absences that you guys didn't know about till now. But we're back. So
we back.
Yeah, we're back.
Farak is burning to die.
Yeah, so when we last left, we had been raiding. In our second night of raiding, we cleared 2 Farak. That was our second night. The first night we did 5.
Yeah.
Because we didn't kill.
You're right. Sorry.
The Life Bloom Weaver person.
Nimu.
Yeah.
Nimu.
Nimue. I don't know.
Nimue.
So we did that, and then the next time we started fresh and just blew through everything and got to Farak.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
That was
and then
nice. That was really
we had
nice.
a week off.
Yeah, then we just had a couple weeks
out of town, and then we didn't have enough people. And so I need to extend my lockout again. Hopefully this Sunday we'll be able to get some good polls on Farak and maybe get that legendary, because we're going to start there, work on him. He's out in LFR now. So
yeah, I've done him now on my alt, but not on my main, because I was waiting to do it on my main to do it with the guild, So I did it on my...
I need to learn the fight from the perspective of Death Knight so that I can not have to focus on doing the mechanics, so that I can tell people how to do the mechanics.
We have to learn it all again.
Yeah.
Well,
he was like the only one with a learning curve.
Well, we only had a couple polls on it, right? And we got to the heal phase or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's fine. That's kind of where normally we hit a learning boss a lot earlier in a raid.
That is true. Yes.
I don't know if these other fights were just...
Anduin.
I don't know if it was because Mythic Plus has been supplementing gear, and we are more geared than we are normally going. That's what I think it is. I don't think
there's not that many people, because the jump from gear level from...
There's enough people. There is at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's half of our raid right there who have usually gear that is...
And when we started the raids, we were still in the 440s, maybe low 450s, except for one person. And the jump, the eye level jump...
I just hit 451. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm like 463 now, I think.
Yeah, lucky you. I'm not.
But anyway, the item level... jump from the raid was higher, so we weren't as we're not over geared. We are geared.
We're geared for it.
I see what you're saying. It was harder to be over gearing it as quick, right?
We're not over geared for it, but we were geared enough for it. Where most of the time, I don't think we were. Like some people were just barely.
I don't know. I feel like it's a much easier raid.
That's what I'm saying. It's the mechanics are that much easier. It's less of a learning curve, and it's like the mechanics are simpler.
Sure,
to the point where we have problems sometimes with mechanics.
Yeah, I understand.
And stuff like that. It's not a gear thing.
But I think the gear helps. I think it's I'm not going to say it's either or. I think that it's both. I think it's, Are
we at that weird spot in expansion 2 where technically all of our secondary skills are like Uber, right? And so we're creating more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Everybody's poo-pooing more.
I don't know.
Thing.
It was shocking to be that
I mean, it feels good. Don't get me wrong. Like, I actually enjoyed the fact that,
it was a lot of fun. It's fun to kill bosses.
We did wipe on bosses, which is important because if we didn't, it'd just be LFR and that would be boring.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know what LFR runs.
LFR is never boring for me.
I don't know what LFR runs you're doing. There's wipes all over the place.
No, it's
boring as in just like, I know I'm not getting something good out of this.
Yeah.
I don't communicate with these people, so it's not fun. Like,
okay, so
you know what I mean?
You say not getting something good, but if you do get a piece of loot, it is upgradable.
If you get a piece of loot,
right?
Is the point.
Fair.
But I mean, but they've made LFR and even heroic and mythic zeros because you can now get vault rewards for those instead of just mythic plus keys, like viable options because the gear isn't just useless. It's upgradable, so you can at least upgrade it, a little bit to kind of push yourself up into that next tier a little bit to do it. Right. So, and I think that was a really good change that they made to the system.
Let me ask you. I was thinking about this the other day. What was the Titan Forge system? How did that work back in the day in Legion? Do you remember?
Terribly.
Warforge, Titan Forge, remember?
Pieces just had a chance to drop as like a couple like 3 or 5 eye levels.
Okay, it was straight up just a chance, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is what made it terrible. That's what makes everything about gearing in WoW terrible is RNG. That is my big issue with it. It feels terrible. If you are somebody who has good luck, it does not feel bad. But if you're somebody who has shitty luck, it feels bad. And the people who have good luck don't care because they have good luck. So it doesn't matter. So it's not a problem to them. But the people who have bad luck, it's a problem, And I am one of those people who has bad luck. So
which is really
it's
interesting. Like, I wonder... So Mythic Zero, is that a daily lockout or weekly lockout now?
Weekly, I think.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's daily.
What?
Is it daily?
Mythic Zeros?
I don't think so.
Yep.
I thought they were weekly once upon a time.
Yeah, they were weekly. Heroics are daily. Mythics were weekly. So unless they've changed it, that's how it used to be.
I guess my point to that is like, I wonder why they haven't tried to draw back the raid lockout on lower tiers. You know what I mean? Because even though RNG sucks because you got to go try it again, being able to do it sooner.
Right.
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 It doesn't feel as bad.
Or maybe you have a couple of attempts at loot at a boss during the week.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe you can kill it a couple of times.
At least on a bi-weekly.
Yeah.
So if you do it any more than that, then you're going to make people feel forced to play every time the lockout resets. So maybe like...
And then too, like the other part is like adding that token back in from BFA.
Yeah.
The bad luck token.
I think...
Or whatever it was.
Yeah. I think also...
Did you buy your token before we start the raid type of thing?
I think another thing that was bad is they reduced the number of tier items because that drop because there are so many other ways to get that tier item, right? From going to the catalyst. So they reduced the number of tokens that drop. So now you hardly get any, right? And if you're not getting any other gear, like the first time that I could actually get, I had gotten like 2 pieces of my 4-piece, and I could go to the catalyst and get the other 2. I didn't have another piece of gear to convert.
Yeah.
So that was frustrating, Like, I didn't have a helmet that I could convert. And it sucked, So I even pugged a Mythic Plus key because I was like, oh, maybe I'll get a helm. It did not. And I mean, the Mythic Plus key went perfectly fine, and we 3-chested it, and it was great. But it was, and then they asked me to do another one with them, and that was nice too. But then I was like, okay, I'm done because this is too much. Because I really only like doing stuff with the people that I know, that I'm friends with. And the people were nice and everything. But I just prefer to push keys with people that I know.
Being in the same room as Kristen, if she's pugging, whether it be normals and leveling, or whether it be low-level keys on an alt.
Yeah, my mouth goes.
It's a
experience
trip.
Yeah. I'm not silent. I mean, I am in the group, but I am not silent in. No.
And she does it in Final Fantasy too.
I do.
Except she's way more yelling at people in Final Fantasy.
Because I'm so frustrated.
And
oh my God.
And some people are just not born for the pug life.
I am not. You know what? If you're queuing for a specific role, you should know how to do a specific role. Like, don't waste my time. So we have to wipe and do this fight all the way over again because you don't know how to play your role. They literally were not doing anything. They were just standing there. I'm like, are you freaking kidding? Oh, it drove me nuts. I am not a good pugger. I play with people that I know how to play, and that's fine. I'm not patient when it comes to that. Not when I'm doing my... So with Final Fantasy, it's a little bit different, right? Because you're doing your daily roulettes, right? So you log in every day and you do roulettes and you get a token, and that token goes to the end game gear for you, the normal gear. Unless you're doing Savage raids, which I do not do. But
they're nasty.
Yeah. No, they're perfectly fine. They're good raids, and I'd like to do them, but I don't have a static, and I'm too lazy, introverted to go find one. You know what I mean? So I don't care to do that. That is not anything that I want to do. But again, because I don't have to rely on RNG, I just have to log in. I do my 2 roulettes because that's all I can be bothered with to get my tokens for the day. And then that's it. I'm done, and then I log out and I play something else because unless I am doing stuff with friends like maps or, dungeony thing, Blue Mage stuff or stuff like that, Mm-hmm. Other than that, like, that's it. I don't have really anything going on right now. Like, it's the end of the X pack. There is not going to be another raid tier. I don't think there's going to be another crafting tier. We're just pretty much on maintenance until Dog Trail comes out. I think there's going to be one more patch that comes out that's going to do our relic weapons. And then that's it. Then we're, just waiting for Dawn Trail to come out, which doesn't come out until the summer. So that's fine. That's good because, school takes up a lot of my time now. And so not enough time to play a lot of video games as it is. Anyway, that's why I like our normal just WoW stuff, right? We just log in, we do our Mythic Pluses we do our raid on Sunday night, we do our Mythic Pluses on Monday night, and then really that's all I have to do. That was all I had to do last, but then this next patch came and now we have to re-gear, which means we should be playing a lot more, and I don't have the time to right now because
it doesn't help that one of our main DPS for our key group, his computer blew up.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Like the power supply went, like the hard drive I think caught on fire or something like that.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
It's toasty. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's trying to get something set up so he can play again, but yeah.
Wow.
It was poor maintenance. unfortunately. Kind of got a little dust clog and all that stuff. So, I mean,
I understand because
you've got
I
kids
imagine
and
mine
dogs, so-
probably would look like that too. It probably, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just in mine the other day, and there's a little dust in there, but not too bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
A lot of them make those little
dust filters.
plastic filters that like help you at least just sweep a lot of it off of there. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I
So-
might have to look at mine and see if it's,
yeah.
what the dealio is with it.
But yeah, so doing a little bit of that. We were doing some alt keys and
Yeah.
stuff like that, playing alt.
Yeah, I got my disc priest almost to where my main is. So, that's good gear wise. Like, well, all right then. Disc priest is
How did you enjoy tanking? Are you a tank now?
Jim?
And wow,
Yeah.
where?
She was tanking
Oh,
last
I was
week.
I
Or
enjoyed
Monday.
it. I had a lot of fun with it.
Oh,
It was fun.
on a druid.
Yeah. It was fun to just run around and beat things up. I know I was probably it's probably less fun for you guys because
Huh?
I like to run around and grab the big poles, and then Jim did not like that as much.
I don't know. I have a hard time with just going like super fast through dungeons, especially when like if you queue for them or whatnot, or if you're doing like low level keys and you got one person in there who's got big dick syndrome and stuff like that, and just goes fucking tearing through. Especially if like you're trying to fucking heal and stuff like that, or you
Yeah.
get like the DPS. It's like, well, I don't need the tank because I'm such a high eye level, it doesn't like affect me. I can take care of myself, kind of thing. And like
My big thing was that we could gather them all together, run to a spot, and then just AoE them all down. Like, and that's where you get the big numbers from and stuff. Like big numbers, good. And
Not
it's a
about the
little bit
numbers.
easier to do in Final Fantasy because the way that they have their dungeons set up, it's basically two big pulls and then there's the boss. So you do what's called a wall-to-wall pull, where you just basically bring everything to right outside the boss room, kill everything right there, and then go in and do the boss.
That's crazy.
And a lot of Mythic Plus groups do that same thing. Some of them even bringing in mobs into bosses with them, on whatever weeks are good for it. We don't do that, but
no, there were some that we were doing that on, but I don't think those dungeons have, or those strats have been come out with for the current set. There were a couple of times we would do that because they wouldn't be as big a deal. But I don't know. I don't like it to be too fast. I don't like it to be too hectic, especially when you pull a bunch of mobs and then all of a sudden now you got 3 or 4 things that need to be interrupted, and you either can't find the nameplate or there's not enough interrupts in the group to stop it, and then you just spend half the fucking pull being feared
yeah.
because you're in Darkheart Thicket and you pull all 5 of the tormenting eye things and they do their thing and you can't interrupt it all. And
I didn't do that. That wasn't me.
No, that wasn't her. It would have been had we done that dungeon, but it wasn't her.
Maybe.
You would have, because that's just what we do.
The problem was I didn't remember what mobs did what because I don't usually pay too much attention to that because I'm usually too busy. I
Healing.
should be paying attention to that, but I'm usually too busy healing. And if I was paying attention to that, then I would probably have to do less healing because I'd be paying attention to what was doing, the most damage. And I'm not really a very good healer in that regard. I keep people alive, but
barely.
no, not barely. Oh my God.
What
But I don't sit there and know what mobs are going to do what at what points and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then part of that too was I was on my feral druid, my cat druid, and like I don't have the same interrupts or stuns or anything like I do on my death knight. There's just a lot more utility on my death knight between war stomp and like the AoE disorient and all that other stuff, and even death grip to an extent can interrupt certain casts and stuff like that. Like on the druid, I have Skull Bash. I can maybe put down Ursul's Vortex. Because that pole interrupts, I think. But they have to kind of move out of it for that to happen. So, yeah. I don't know.
Interesting.
But Kitty's
Get
fun.
back into Typhoon.
I will never do that to anybody.
You could put Ursul's Vortex down, Typhoon them, and then it pulls them back into
But my rips.
oh my god.
I don't know. Cat's fun. I do more damage, I think, on my cat, who's like 20 eye levels lower than my DK.
Yeah.
Do more damage on bosses.
Frost
and
DKs
stuff.
are in a rough
That's
spot
crazy.
at the moment.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. Guess I'm switching to Druid.
I mean, druids are the best.
Yeah, I refuse. I won't do that.
Yeah, you won't.
So yeah, so what? Season of Discovery came out end of November 30th.
Yeah.
It
Fun.
was.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about it since then, have we?
It's fun.
Yeah, I
Played it
played
a
a
It's
lot.
little
interesting.
bit. I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time getting into like the classic stuff anymore.
It definitely still is classic.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Jim
Yeah.
Jim played with me for a couple of hours. Was it even a couple of hours?
I don't think so.
No.
It was
And
just
then
like, now you got to go
Wow.
here, and now you
Yep.
got to go here, and
Yep.
now you got to. I'm like,
he's like,
I just
okay,
wanna
I'm
play
done.
the game.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what to do.
Well, but there, yeah. So I mean, so
I'm in no rush, and it's
not being in a rush though. It's being efficient. Like there's an efficiency thing. It's not
there's not.
Get your ass in gear, Jim.
There's-
Damn.
being efficient. If you're gonna be doing,
You know what? I
Things
don't
in
play.
this-
I don't play games to be efficient.
oh my god,
I play games to have fun.
yeah, but I
yeah,
have fun being efficient.
Then you can do that, and then I will play my slow, casual, just meandering thing. I'm not gonna
Yep.
run around and like okay, well, let's see, these quests go here, here, here. Like I don't have Questy installed. I don't think I have any add-ons installed for Season of Discovery. So like I have to actually like look at the quest and read it and go, okay, now where am I going? It says
Yeah,
to the
I
north.
tried
Okay.
that, and then I installed Questy because I was like, "F that."
I mean, I do remember when they added like the blue map add-on way back in the day that put it on your mini map or wherever where the quest stuff was
Mhm. Yeah.
before WoW co-opted it and put it in. So like I remember, when that came about and all that stuff, and it was just like, I don't know. I don't mind not having it. I don't mind having to read to go find something and stuff like that. And even in the starting area, it ain't that bad, and it's just like, it's just kind of neat. Of course, it's on the Alliance side, so it's kind of just not as familiar because I didn't play a lot of Alliance.
Oh, you're playing Alliance.
are
Well,
you
because
playing?
I started playing and he was going to play with me, and I was like, "Well, I can make bags and I can do this," and it was me being efficient.
I'm going to go delete my character. I'm going to efficiently delete it.
Oh,
I hope,
I
he
was
has, I
like-
hope he has a short name so I can be efficient in typing it when I delete him.
There you go. There you go. Efficiency. It's all about efficiency.
That's so funny.
Yeah, no, I was like, "Come play on the." I'm like, "Well, do you want?" No, I asked. I said, "Do you
It's
want to make a
fine.
character on the Horde or the
I don't
Alliance
care.
side?" And he's like, "I don't care." And I
See?
said,
don't
"Well,"
care.
I said, "It's up to you." And he's like, "It doesn't matter to me." And I was like, "Well, I can make bags and stuff on the Alliance side, so let's do Alliance." So
Do
we
I
did.
have any bags?
No, because he barely played, and I wasn't gonna waste
That's fine.
material on you barely play.
I don't know. Like again, the classic stuff just like
This-
hardcore is different, right?
No.
Hardcore is different because there is real consequence to it. Season of the Discovery is just like classic WoW in so much as if you die, you die. You just go back and try it again. Where and so like I like
It's interesting because like the big thing about Season of Discovery is that they just put in the powers of over the course of time. It seems like for classes that make the classic experience less painful.
Yeah.
And that's why it feels good to me, at least.
Yeah.
But like, it's not at a certain point. I'm like, man, it's just the same shit.
well
Like, there's no discovery any more than like, there are like the boxes you fulfill or whatever that kind of drop every so often. But like, other than that, and the runes, it's just.
Well,
Go to WoW
there's the raid and all that stuff. Well, and that's the thing too, right? Is that
Oh yeah, but I mean that shit takes. I mean, you got to play 24 hours straight to get to level 25 if you're lucky.
But I mean,
right? Like,
that's the thing too, right? And it's just like what Kristen just said. You just go to Wowhead, and it's just like I understand having guides and stuff like that, but it's gotten to the point where there's no secrets and stuff like that. Like everything is figured out.
Yeah, I mean, that's the nature of it, right? But like the important part is that they are trying to do something that's just
different.
Yeah, they're definitely iterating on like the classic experience. Like they did hardcore. They're doing the Season of Discovery stuff, and I don't know if they'll persist it or if they'll just
also too, like none of this stuff was data mined, so technically there was a good week at the least. But there was stuff that was still undiscovered.
Yeah,
pretty sure at this
Yes,
point it's
there
all
was.
revealed.
I think everything's
Because I went to Wowhead. Yeah, because I remember the Warlock one was the one of the ones that hadn't been discovered yet, and then they found it out after
the Metamorphosis one.
Yes, which was I was super annoyed, and I'm glad that they gave us another way to get it, because I think that was crappy the way that they did it. Only because they touted it as you want to be a warlock, and that was their flagship thing, right? Of the expansion. And then to hide it behind, being level 25 and doing this raid, and you know what I mean? Really felt bad.
And we had a discussion about it.
Yeah.
And what did I say? I said it was probably miscommunication among the teams, and it was never intended to be in the raid. And then shortly thereafter, there was an interview or a statement made that, yep, there was a miscommunication, and it was never intended. None of these were ever intended to be behind a raid. We're fixing it so it'll be outside of the raid and all that stuff, because they knew that would feel bad, but there was, again, just wires crossed kind of thing, and they fixed it, and it's, I mean, it would almost feel better to have that stuff like before max level anyway.
Yeah. I mean, people thought that they would be,
leveling as a tank
and being able to, and that was a marketing error. You know what I mean? Like they should have set people's expectations. They should have made it so people's expectations weren't that, and that was what they did not do.
Yeah. And it's like they try to hype it up, and part of the hype can be misconstrued. Like they may not have intended for it to seem like that was going to be available earlier and stuff like that, and it is something that they were putting back in, but it wasn't just for warlocks. I think rogues can tank as well.
Sure.
And stuff.
And shaman, but shaman get it at like level 15 or something like that, or something ridiculous, something low. They should have kind of been on par for similar type of things like that. But again, this is something that I don't know if there is a template for this in another game for this kind of modulation on an existing IP. I don't know if like EverQuest did something like that, or if Ultima ever did anything like that, where they spun up new things, but they kind of tweaked it a little bit to where it was like, you know what I mean? Like, because this feels,
I don't know what this is
It
based
sucks
on.
because it's like it's super like
It's still fun.
no, it's definitely fun. I would say like the closest similarity would be EverQuest, but they went so fucking hard on their expansions over the years and level up like WoW did initially.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know where they're at now. One of the cool things they did do back in the day was introduce a newbie tier set that you would have to farm.
Like heritage armor.
Essentially, but it boosted your stats enough so you could level quickly
Yeah.
through like the lower level.
Like heritage armor,
Span.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and get back up. And so, oh yeah, heritage armor. I'm thinking of heritage armor, not heritage
Oh,
armor.
heirloom.
Heirloom.
Thank you.
Not
yes.
heritage.
No,
Heirloom.
heirloom.
Yeah,
Heirloom
yeah,
armor.
right.
Yes. Even though they've since nerfed it a little bit, that was how.
There's no XP gain on it now. It's just
Yeah.
stats, but
Right.
that's still better.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But even then, though, they never really went back and tried to do something just a little bit different. Again, I mean, they're already doing like the, classic is like the progression server system that they did
yes,
back in the day.
because like
Except theirs is more streamlined. They literally like will open a new expansion for a server and go. And so
Yeah,
it's not like
it would be nice if WoW would do that. If they would start.
that would be cool because then they could do the iterations quicker and not so like. I mean, they're pretty quick as is,
They
but
don't-
still.
they don't even need to be iterations on it. Just have progression servers where it's just you start in vanilla.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't take a year and a half for the expansion to drop for classic.
Right.
Like,
I
we
think
expect that now, so just create a progression server and start one over so they overlap and people can go do other, try it again and stuff.
I'm wondering if that once they get enough classic expansions out, because Cataclysm's coming out, right?
Mm.
So if they get
Mhm.
enough of them,
Nobody's looking
Out.
forward to Cataclysm.
that's not true.
Nobody's looking forward to Cataclysm.
They even redid the
first-
cinematic. Come on, it looked awesome.
Do you not remember?
Honestly, the leveling experience in Cataclysm is totally fine. It's the rest of it that sucks.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. It's like they haven't been. They initially released Classic as is. They picked a patch or a version that they released at, and they didn't fuck with it. That hasn't been the case going forward. Because in Lich King they had like the Hero Plus dungeons and stuff like that, where you could get higher.
Yeah,
gear.
they changed. Yeah, they bumped that quite a bit, didn't they?
So yeah, and so like they're making changes. This isn't gonna be just vanilla Cataclysm. It's gonna have some changes, and they'll probably see what they'll probably fix some of like the most egregious things that people didn't like and kind of rein them in so they're less.
So other than Shadowlands, I think Cataclysm is the one I played the least. Other than Shadowlands, like both of those are the.
Wasn't there another game that came out around then though? That we
Yeah,
were
Guild
playing?
Wars 2 I was playing a lot of.
Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't as grabbing, and it was also. I mean, I played a lot, but I played a lot by
Yes.
myself
You played a lot by yourself.
because I just leveled all my characters and I was playing and all that stuff, and I mean I enjoyed it, but that was the one where like the dungeons were fucking super hard and shit like that.
Not super hard, annoying.
Some were hard.
Yeah,
Some were really
yeah, but
hard. Initially, they were initially hard.
Unforgiven, yeah. Like the entry level stuff was just like it was super heavy on CCs,
yes.
more so than I think because they had like gone away from that and to just have it drop
Completely 180'd, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
it's just like
DC was like super heavy CC. Like you could only pull one
Yes.
mob at a time.
Yes.
Then we went to pull all the mobs together at the end of Lich King. And
Yep.
then we went back.
Yep. Well,
To pull
that
one
was
mob
the
at a
thing
time.
is the play style and the people who were playing changed and like evolved right into a different play style, and nobody wanted to go back to the other one.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I mean, it made
yeah.
it way more inclusive to pull several mobs at a time. And they could have easily done what they did nowadays, right? Because nowadays you can, we kind of do that, right? In the beginning, we can only pull so much. Towards the end, we can kind of pull everything type of thing. Like, and that feels good for the most part. You don't get stuck on, because I don't think they could ever reinvent the idea of like what Hardcore Classic is doing, right?
Yeah.
And planning the adventure into the actual pull itself, right? When you pull a mob and you have to strategize and watch around you to die, you can't die. You know, you can't go dungeon crawling too deep.
Yeah,
because of respawns and stuff like that.
Yeah, without an exit strategy and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's like it's definitely, so there's no point in adding like a lot of that shit again. So I think they did learn their lesson on it.
Yeah,
but Cataclysm was like, it had like Mount Hyjal was a great zone. Fuck, they were all great zones.
Nobody
The
liked
zones were
nobody
fine.
liked Vestier.
Yeah,
The-
that
Dude,
year
it was really cool though.
I love
It
that.
was
The
one.
really
first playthrough was
cool.
cool. The second playthrough was not.
Yeah.
If you didn't alt, it was terrible.
Yeah.
I never thought that. I always leveled through Vestier when I leveled
Picking
alts.
Nass and taking mains or whatever it's called. I still remember one
Yeah.
quest.
Yeah.
Nass with the helmet and he walks around underneath.
Yeah, there was I don't know. I mean, fuck it. Maybe they'll end up adding in like that underwater dungeon that's like that big giant creature
Oh yeah.
or raid or something like that. Maybe, you know.
You can't do an underwater raid like that.
No,
do you
no, no,
remember
no, no,
having
no.
to do
I'm
that
not
stupid
talking
fish
about-
boss?
I'm not talking about a fully underwater raid, but they have something planned for one of those like
There
There
was,
was.
yeah.
Yeah.
They had it half built too.
Yeah. But dear God, just remember doing that stupid underwater fish boss.
I didn't have a problem with that boss.
Yep. Well, other people did.
The one in the
Queen of
BFA.
Shara's palace.
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's great
Yeah.
that you didn't have a problem with it, but other people did. You
They
know?
just need to get good.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Wow.
Dude, it says something because that one zone, like even though it's rough to go back through, was a really fun zone.
Yeah.
It had
Right.
some really cool things, right? Like you could swim, but then there was like the shipwrecks we could fly up and get or swim up into and find the air pockets, right? You know, and it was like it felt like underwater. You know
Felt
what I mean?
fine as a
Yeah.
druid.
I had no problem with it as a DK.
Everybody else should just get good.
Just-
I'm not complaining about the zone.
I know.
But anyway, back to what we were talking about. I think if they get enough expansions out into the classic era, right? So Cataclysm count maybe Mist, maybe they stop at Mist, or maybe I don't know, because they're always going to want to add them in. But at that point, maybe they can start fabricating a progression server where, based on the population and an overall like EverQuest does it, an overall percentage of people doing certain things, and then they'll unlock the next stuff. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that will. Now that's obviously,
and they also vote to unlock it too. Well, maybe they only vote to unlock it. I think they have to get to a certain point, then they can vote to unlock it and go. And so I think they can actually go between expansions like 3 weeks at a time.
Yeah. So I mean, but that would be kind of interesting, you know, and I guess it would force other people on that server that weren't there to, you know, like if it changed expansions and they were like system changes, it would be kind of forced upon them because the systems.
Yeah.
But I mean, but whatever.
I mean, that would kind of suck. Like, because you think about it.
They were pretty
You
good about
have-
stacking systems, though, not changing other ones, because they had alternate advancement, where when you got max level, you got points, like a talent tree, essentially. Not really a talent tree, but you could just put points into other things, and it was everything from, like, I think combat related to, like, profession type shit and stuff like that. And so they stack that a lot too. So like they didn't really change the bottom up much at all.
That's what I think they should do. I think they should stop adding levels in WoW and start doing like what ESO does.
Well, isn't that, well, I guess that's not what's happening.
No.
We're still gonna get levels, but
yeah.
they're adding like the new like what are they? What do they call them? Like the hero talents or whatever. In the next expansion, there's like going to be 10 new things. That's where it's like it's kind of like you can pick 2 trees based on what spec you are and put points into it. Like
Right.
For like Death Knights have like what Rider of the Apocalypse.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so they're kind of doing
know,
that. So they're not fucking with the base talents anymore. Like those are going to be set. They're not going to add new stuff to that. They're adding like just an additional. How that's going to work going forward, I don't know.
It is going to be very complicated. I think quite honestly, I think it's going to be much more difficult for them to balance.
Well, no, because it's the same as adding new talents. So they'll just be balanced anyway. It'll just be balancing like normal. The thing is that they're not going to have to worry about removing something from the existing 1 through 70 talents, which could throw everything completely out of whack. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to go in and remove Abomination Limb from the Death Knight tree to put in a different talent. It's going to be a separate talent tree that they can balance among itself, and how it synergizes with everything else, they can just adjust that.
Right, but now they've got 2 things that they have to balance. And imagine if you have something, right? Because every class has like 2 that they can choose, right? They can either choose this or they can choose that. Well, maybe one of them is OP and different specs can go into the same ones. Well, what if the things are OP on one spec, but not OP on the other spec? You know what I mean?
Well, see, that's the thing, though, because from what I've seen of that system, it's if you pick a talent in one spec, it has a bonus to that spec's ability. But if you're in a different spec, the effect is different.
Sure.
So it doesn't matter if it's OP for one. You can adjust it for the other one to fix it. You can down tune one spec's version of it, up tune the other spec's version of it, without really it being that much of a hassle. It's
right.
It's not like it's static.
But you can't remove say if something becomes problematic for some one spec, you can't just remove it though. That, you know what I mean? Like, you have to do something with it.
Well, most of these are gonna be passives anyway and just enhance abilities. So it's not even gonna remove anything. They'll just fix the enhancement on whatever it does. There's gonna be, I think, 4. There's 10 of them. 4 of them are like you can flip back and forth, and they had that condensed tree that only shows the ones that you can switch. But most of them aren't even gonna be buttons you push. They're gonna be just effects. So.
Right. Kind of like the Legion, artifact thing.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of like that, where they're just kind of like boosts. They don't really give you anything per se.
I liked that.
Bring it back.
Yeah, I liked it. I wish we could have just kept our artifact weapons. I know people like getting new weapons or whatever. I like having the best weapon.
Transmogs. Just give new transmogs and new ways to earn them for the artifact things. Just give us different shit to put in the weapon to do it. Yeah, fuck it. Let's go back to that. Yeah. Just give us all just a piece of armor, and we just all have abilities, and then we don't have to worry about getting armor. Just take loot out. Just give us static stuff that just advances as we level.
You don't take the stats off of armor and weapons. Do it like a normal RPG.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they did. They used to have that. You used to have abilities for weapons and stuff. Your skills. I mean, that would be kind of like that. If you didn't have the stuff on the weapons, you would just have like your proficiency. Yeah.
Proficiency in it, right? Because at a certain point, like, you shouldn't miss anymore for the most part.
Why isn't this just Dungeons of Warcraft? Dungeons and Warcraft. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just give everybody character sheets and dice and just. Why is this game just not Baldur's Gate 3?
Why? The question I ask myself all the time.
Why didn't Larian make this game? Sven would I?
Because they know MMOs are shit.
Yeah.
I don't think not really. Not really at all. Stats not being on weapons, and I I'm sorry, but it's Ultima Online that did it fucking best. Because you could grab armor and just a sword and a shield or whatever you did, and you could go out and you could kick ass. Magic weapons were still like, you could find magic weapons and they had like a tier. Like there was like 6 tiers of types that could be of something else. Like there could be a silver weapon for undead of a certain power level. But that weapon, after you use it enough, would break. And it would disappear, like it would be destroyed. Right? And so they were completely disposable. And so you could get a blacksmith weapon that was just as good as like a first or second tier magic weapon would be if you had found one.
Yeah.
Which is really awesome, right? And so like being able to just pick up and go, right? And you just had AC based on your armor. So if your stats were juggled that way, you could wear plate. If not, you were wearing leather. And if you were casting, you were probably wearing a robe, right? And so that level of like immersiveness is really all MMOs need. I don't think MMOs really need it. WoW was built around like this whole theme park process, so it makes sense why everything's a stat stick, right?
Yeah.
But a true like, I think immersive or persistent world would be better suited with something more realistic. That doesn't anchor itself to like a
class or a
like a process that's like, ooh, here's the next one. Ooh, here's the next one. The bread trail, not paper trail.
Ooh, a piece of candy.
breadcrumb trail.
Ooh, a piece of candy. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to, but I don't know. I think it's breadcrumbs, right? Breadcrumbs to get you to the next spot. So
yeah.
Piece of candy.
Piece of candy.
Yeah. No, let's just make that game.
We should. I'm not gonna lie. We should. We really should just start just banging our heads against something and just do it. You know, if 50 people played in a little town together, you know how badass that would be.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it would be.
You just hang out, and there might be a dragon that flies by, and you're like, "Oh shit, I gotta go inside."
Like, time to hide.
He just takes a dump on the town.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine that experience versus like,
we don't kill dragons here. We hide from them.
I don't know. Or you grab a fishing pole and just go hang out at the lake and fish. And you fish up a boot, and you're like, oh, damn, look at that.
I can sell that for 2
That's
copper.
what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Fishing.
Yeah, that would be Kristen's game.
Yep. Right.
That's her end
alley.
game is fishing.
Yep.
Dude, in a heartbeat. I cannot believe. Did you play Ultima at all, Kristen?
No. I did not.
I didn't either.
Man, you would have.
Could
if
you fish?
Back on you could. People were fish. That's what they did in the game. They would fish and sell fish steak. It would cook fish steaks.
Yeah.
For mages, so you could like I think you regen faster or something like that. But
nice.
You also at a certain point you got fish nets, and then they got colored fish nets. You could fish up treasure in a boat.
Nice.
You could get in your boat, go out, and you could fish up a treasure spot that would spawn sometimes a kraken or a water elemental or something like that. But if you beat them and you loot them all, you could put all their shit into your boat's chest.
Nice.
And then you could sail back to the docks.
Nice.
Get off your boat and go sell your stuff. This is a game that was built in 1996.
That's what I'm doing right now. Is I'm fishing on my boat in Guild Wars 2. You know.
Oh God.
And I'm having fun because I'm doing achievements.
Let's do some brainstorming over the break.
I got 4 books on Unity that I need to dust off.
Oh no, let's not use Unity though.
Not Unity. Okay, we can go.
Unreal. What about Unreal? Can we use the Unreal Engine?
You gotta be good at graphics. You can't do. I can't do graphics.
Oh really?
It's hard.
Yeah, we could just.
No, you're right. I mean, actually, Unreal would be a good one if
Unreal
you
would
probably
be good.
want to do.
Unity would not be good. Not.
No, that's not true.
Not with all the. Like I don't trust them anymore.
They've already changed their stuff back.
Well,
they already changed their stuff back.
But they were gonna do it, and they will probably find a way to do it in the future. That, you know what I mean?
I bet you they will not, actually.
When it dies down, when the brouhaha dies down,
Yeah, people are going to be watching
No.
them. There's no
sure,
way.
people will be watching them, but
Yeah.
their trust is for
There's
me.
two major options for a lot of people to do. And I think, if anything, people are probably just more adamant about making sure they're not completely locked in to the platform,
Yeah.
which is really hard to do, unfortunately, for like Unity. It's probably hard for every game development platform. If you're not coding your stuff low level by hand, then you're pretty much locked in anyways. So,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, Unity is really accessible for lots of people. So,
Yeah.
That's a decision
I'm willing
we
to
can
bet
make at
that,
a
like,
later date.
well, yeah, I don't know.
We got
Every time I pull up something, I'm like, well, something else to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Oh gosh,
Well,
good times.
Yep.
Mm.
it was good to get back together, do this again, just spew out all our nonsense and record it
Yeah.
so that we can broadcast it out to all you wonderful listeners across the world. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening. Hopefully you're still listening, even though we haven't put one out for a couple weeks.
Taking the
So,
time out of your busy schedule to listen to us. Maybe we made your commute a little bit more. Maybe we made you smile or laugh or something.
nah, I hope we made you mad.
No.
All right.
Oh my God. Wow. People just sitting on the like subway or train or something like
Stoking
that.
the fire and just like
like,
throwing a brick through a window
angry.
now.
Like, oh my God, that's
Oh.
terrible. No. Hopefully that does not happen. Dang.
Anyway, thank you everybody for listening. You can check us out at facebook.com/server restart in. Shoot us a post at X. It's at server.
I got an
_restart.
invite for Blue Sky for you, buddy.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't either.
Blue Sky is the old Twitter people doing new Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Right, that's just what we freaking need.
I mean, honestly, Twitter, either way, was a dumpster fire. So
So we're just
I
gonna
miss
go,
old Twitter.
I do not.
we're just gonna go ahead and we're
miss
just
any
gonna
of
go
it.
ahead and do a Tumblr and
Oh, Jesus.
anyway, you can check us out next week and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.